And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I am here with my buddy Chris.
Hello and welcome back, sir.
Touch Base Daily. We are back, the team together on Thursdays. Trend Watch Thursday. That's what this is. And Chris, missed you, bro.
Man, it's been 3 weeks since I've been on.
3 weeks.
It's crazy.
Sir.
I'm sitting there getting ready. I'm like, wow, it's been a while. Like, do I remember how to do this?
Vacation is vacation, right?
Vacation. Yeah, you had a great vacation, though.
I had a great vacation. I relaxed. And again, thank you to my dear friend Nia and her husband Mimbo. They treated me like royalty. They just always take care of me. And I got some good rest, got some good workout, gardening, and all that good stuff. It was just beautiful. And then came back home to Photoville. So and been working Photoville and did the documentary, documenting on Saturday and Sunday, and then got rewarded by mentioning in the Brooklyn magazine.
Accolades. It's crazy, but well deserved. Well deserved.
I was like, and it was so funny because for those that know, Chris and I, we do not plan these Thursdays, technically, most likely 99% of the time, and also sometimes it's the first time seeing each other since whenever we last talked, so we are always catching up.
We touched base briefly Monday, but outside of that, we really took a vacation. And so I told you, when you go away, just leave everything behind, have a good time. I didn't bother you,
I left everything behind. I very rarely went online. I only went online, I think, with a purpose twice. And that was when Trump verdict came out. I had just got home. And I was like, I was sitting on the couch and I said, I need to talk to somebody. Like I'm excited, but this Trump saga that this country is in is just always changing. And speaking of Trump, for those in the news, before we go to the news, today is for those that are new, because a lot of new folks have signed on to Touch Base Daily. I've met a lot of folks at Photoville, and so some of our Photoville folks, through Seth, through some of the other photographers, are now in this community. And so Trend Watch Thursday is a little bit of everything. We talk a bit of photography, but it's mainly about news, what's going on in the world, how it impacts us, how it impacts the world. And so that's what we do. And I get on with fellow photographer, fellow producer, fellow brand ambassador, Fred. Should I go on, Chris?
Keep going.
You wear many hats. Chris wears many hats. And he is also he does some of the campaignings and marketing for some cool groups, and one group, can I mention them, or After 7? So he does that. He works with After 7. Shout out to After 7.
Shout out to After 7.
So he does all the video, photography, the videos, and their social media platform. So if you're looking for someone to, I'm pimping him out.
Hey, pimp me out all you want.
If you want someone to help you with your social media, especially in the music industry and places like that, Chris has a real great handle. He just creates, but this is his long term. He's been doing this for years. I was introduced to Chris because of his incredible photography skill. Someone introduced me to his page, and I looked at his page and said, wow, these are amazing photos. Elsie, yes, our girl Elsie. And Elsie said, you gotta meet this guy, Chris. And I went through his page. I was like, oh my God, look at all these beautiful portraits and all this stuff. And then I found out that he was doing them himself, setting up a camera and then moving back and setting them in the right angle and photographing himself in these amazing clothing and wares and all that good stuff. So anyway, you're my great company.
Ago.
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, because I haven't done it in a while. I've done it in a long while.
Yeah, that's how we got our friendship began, and we were friends from the moment we met.
Instantaneously. The
Instant.
first time we met was at a Starbucks downtown.
Starbucks in Tribeca, my first meetup group.
Yep.
It was just 3 people in my meetup group.
Me, you, and Janet.
And Chris.
And Janet.
Yeah, it was just the 3 of us. Okay, let's say hello to some folks. Some folks have come into the building today. Look at a lot of folks have come into the building. Hey, Gwendolyn's in town. Gwendolyn, are you back? Are you back in action? I know Gwendolyn was out yesterday, graduation time, and doing her thing, family time. Omar is in the building.
Before you move on, a quick note. Gwendolyn and I missed each other in Florida by a day.
Yes, I heard. And you guys, you both met in person.
Well, Dr. Tachi and I, Dr. Tachi and I met. And that was brief also because I was working with After 7. We were in Miramar, Florida, and I invited Dr. Tachi to come out to see the show. And it was so funny because I was planning on being in Florida for a couple of days, and the plan was to maybe like meet up with Dr. Tachi like on a Sunday or something, because I wasn't leaving until Monday. And After 7 got this great opportunity to perform on the Black Music Honors. And we had to fly out the following morning to be in Atlanta for the recording. So I literally saw Dr. Tachi for about 5 minutes in the lobby. She stepped out of the concert because In Vogue was on. And then we had to leave because we had to go back to the hotel, get our stuff together to leave for a 5 a.m. flight to Atlanta. So Gwendolyn, next time we'll definitely meet up.
You got to coordinate better, right? You got to coordinate. Oh man, have we switched start times and been missing these? Yes, Brian. Don't you look at the feed? In my stories every day, it says with the countdown, 10 o'clock is our new time for all those that are into our Touch Base Daily family. We are on at 10 o'clock every day. We are no longer on at 11:15. 11:15 is our old time. We are on from 10 to 11. Well, unless we go into overtime like yesterday. Yesterday was a great show. We had great conversations yesterday. Yesterday was our Wisdom Wednesday, and usually we have a guest on our Wisdom Wednesdays, but I wanted to just hang out with my family here, and you guys were the guests, and I was the guest to our guest show. So it was great. We all talked, and we talked about Project 2025. We talked about some of the stuff that brings us joy, our Zen space. We talked about a lot of stuff. So check it out. Yesterday's Touch Base Daily was a lot of fun, and we just hung out. So yes, Brian, we have a new time, 10 o'clock every Monday through Friday. Okay, Bryson says, pre-bad boys, wait. See, always Bryson's gives us the tips on what's happening in media.
I got my ticket. We're seeing it Saturday.
Yes, because you said you were definitely going to that. You said you were going.
I bought my tickets. So listen, I'm a little conflicted with the whole, Will Smith thing still, but I just love the franchise, and I've seen all of them and I love it. So I bought our tickets like weeks ago. When the tickets went on sale, I got 2. So we're going Saturday morning to go see it. I'm glad I picked Saturday morning because I have to drive out of town Saturday afternoon for work.
Yeah, you are busy, man. You are busy, and it's good to be busy, right?
It is, but it's tiring, man.
Let me tell you,
I'm fighting the black eyes.
Are you getting ready to start carrying some luggage under your eyes?
No, I refuse. I mean, I have a little bit of dark circles, but I refuse to have the baggage.
Here's Mimi Hinton is in the building. What's going on, Mimi? So good to see you again. I love saying her name, Mimi Hinton. It's like a writer, actress. It commands such authority. I just wanted to say that. Also, G is saying hello back. Chris, she says, hey, Chris.
Hey.
And we have the great Alieze. Alieze, again, Gwendolyn and Alieze. If you want to join us, make sure. Should I be sending you guys? I think I should send you the link. You're more than, remember, like the last 30 minutes of the show, we want to make sure that we're interacting, and it's like a 4 party. It's not just Chris and I, but it'll be 4 of us. So if you want to come on, Alieze, if you want to come on, Gwendolyn, come on, and
the more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
That's a great group. That's a great round table.
We are this Alieze and Gwendolyn.
Yes.
Women that are strong, powerful, love to be educated, love to educate others, inspiration. These two women, Gwendolyn, Miss G R Houston Jack, and Alieze Stallworth. They are amazing women, and they are always welcome. But on Thursdays, they always have the option if they want to join in on the panel discussion. So let me know, guys, if you are interested. Also, if you Alieze, I think it was saved. Alieze had a great conversation last night on her Instagram feed. So, guys, if you have not, first of all, if y'all don't know Alieze, you need to get to know Alieze, and you need to follow her on Instagram. She's not on YouTube yet. I can see one day in the future that Alieze will have her own show, because Alieze has a lot to say.
Yes.
And she has a lot of wisdom. But yes, so check it out. Last night they were talking about Project 2025. They're talking about the election, the importance of the election. They were talking about also different levels of how we have to engage with our family and our friends. And she may just bring that right on into this conversation later on. So we'll see about that one.
Should I save my comments about the bill that did not pass last night, or the proclamation, what they're calling it, the guarantee of contraceptive? We can talk about it later.
Can we, if they come on? If not, if they don't, let's save it for them. Let's save it for. Yeah, I think it would be great to have the ladies talk about the bill that did not pass in the Congress. Was it the Congress or the Senate?
No, it was Congress.
It was Congress. And
House of Representatives.
Where they to protect.
Or was it the Senate?
I think it was the Senate.
No, I think it was the Senate. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was the Senate to protect contraception rights here in America for women and for men. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good conversation for later. Now, guys, I am on a time restraint, so we're gonna go fast. We're gonna move fast today because, again, I have to leave early because I am working at Photoville, so I need to zoom out of here and zoom over there, so that way I can be on time, because you need to be on time when you go to work. So you stick to your time. Okay, so I see in here. She's okay. Good. Got that one. Brian says, I would have loved to join yesterday. I'm currently listening to Bob Woodward's audiobook, The Trump Tapes. Oh yeah, that's a good book. I think I have that book in my I do have that book. I don't think I completed it yet though. Alieze says, yet. Yet. We say yet, Alieze. Yes, right. Kimmy says, Alieze live was excellent. It was. You can't go wrong when you hang out with Alieze. You can send the link. She says, okay, there we go. I'm gonna send Alieze her link, and I'm gonna send Gwendolyn the link as well. So I'm gonna do that because I know Gwendolyn ain't gonna shy, and unless she's in curlers. It's just never gonna happen. Oh, let me see here, Alieze. Okay, let me just put in here, Alieze. Oh, why is it not coming? Chris, you send Alieze her link, and I'm gonna send Gwendolyn.
Okay.
Okay. And Gwendolyn in here. I got so many addresses for Gwendolyn. Lord have mercy. I am sending
Alieze, I'm going to send it to you in your DM.
I'm sending you, Gwendolyn, to your Gmail. Got that. I'm sending it to your Gmail. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Teamwork with efficiency. Efficiency works. Okay, got those out. So you guys want to come on. Good morning, Kim says Alieze, and I was it was there she goes. She said it was the Senate. And send the link, please. Yep, there she goes. And
Alieze, check your DMs. I sent it to you.
And the Girls Club Inc. is in the building. She says, good morning, Ron and Chris. There we go. We're all caught up now. We're all caught up. Kimmy says, are you looking forward to Power Book 2? Ghosts. That's an interesting question. You know, I have not seen Power 1. I have not seen the Power Book 1. Was it Power Book 2? And first season. I have not seen that series. I don't have. Is it on FX?
I don't remember.
Oh no, it's on Stars.
Stars. Yeah,
Stars.
I watched the original series. I never saw it when they started doing like the Power Books. When his son started taking over. I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah, I haven't seen the son. Series. I heard it's really good.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet. But she said, Bryce. She talked to Bryce and Lee. Are you looking forward to it? Y'all having these personal conversations, but I just had to draw you in. Okay, so in the news, what's going on in the news? There's a couple of headlines. First of all, in the news today, let me get my little. First, we want to also remember it's D-Day anniversary.
Yes, it is.
For those
the 80th anniversary.
Yes, and we have democracy today, and we have the world we have today because people died so that we could have it. And if you do not know what D-Day is, you may want to go to the history books and check it out. But it's going to be a lot of news on it today. There'll be lots of President Biden is in France right now.
He's actually speaking right now.
He is speaking right now?
Yeah.
And the leaders are all gathered there to commemorate this anniversary, remembering D-Day. It was the day that changed the direction of the war. And if that day did not happen, if there was no success in all of those American boys that died and women, we may be speaking German today.
Yeah, and the world would look a lot different.
The world would look a whole lot different. So, guys, that's what remembering D-Day. It is so important. We have to know our histories, guys. I always say, folks, in America, let me read back. There's certain groups in America that really share their history over and over and over and over and repeat it to every generation. And that's how they stay so unified. That's how they stay so connected to each other. We as Americans, even though we all come from different countries, different places, different lands, we still need to remember what makes us Americans. And I know America's got a lot going on here. We're fighting for our democracy right now.
Yes, we are.
We got a Hitler-type personality that wants to change that.
Who we were fighting against on D-Day.
Yes.
I mean, look at the irony there.
The irony. Oh, there's our wonderful Alieze. Gwendolyn, did you get your link? Gwendolyn? Okay, let me know if you got your link. Send the link. I sent it, and hope you got. I see Alieze. Alieze, we're gonna bring you on. You might as well just come on early right there. We just got all of us. I'm gonna pop off, get this little banner off the screen. Here we go. What's up, Alieze? Can we hear you? Can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
That's because I put it on mute because of the
there you go.
Background. I was like, I forgot to take it off.
We are looking so summery. Look at us. Look, we got Chris's beach background. He got the flowers shirt. I got my beach badge, my beach matching his background, and you got the white t-shirt, and
everybody's ready for summer.
My Henry Taylor shirt on.
Yes, and you got your hair put to the side, looking all like, This is great. I love it. I love it. So Alieze, so we gone to D-Day. I'm gonna just get a couple of these headlines in real quick.
I got one for you.
The other thing is that we want to I mean, this is a question. We're gonna have a discussion. So we have Gwendolyn and them here, and Trump wins more delays
in Georgia.
So, Lord have mercy with this. You know, Don Lemon had I don't know if you guys have been seeing Don Lemon's show on he has this live at 5.
He comes on so many times during the daytime.
He comes on in noon, and he comes on live at 5. So he has twice a day he comes on, and his people he has hired. People say, what did Don Lemon do with his money? He hired a production crew, producer, all that stuff to create his platform on YouTube, and what they call now is being called now freelance news, freelance corresponding on YouTube. I love his show. They can be direct and gritty. They're to the point. I love it. But one of the things they were talking about yesterday was these wins, and they were talking about the Fannie Willis. You know, now that it's because she did not make nothing's wrong with her being in a relationship with this gentleman, but she should have had what's called forward thinking of
disclosed.
This is going to be a problem if I go down this road, and so I need to put this on hold because I am going to be reigning over the most important trial in American history. And she did not. She let her heart be,
but here's I do not want. I'm conflicted like you, but I do not want us to shame her in any way.
No, it's not shaming her. No, yeah.
She's a human being, and she's entitled to be with someone, to be in love, or just to have a casual relationship. And most relationships stem from workplace environments. It's natural.
That's right.
They weren't doing anything wrong. They went to a judge heard this and said, all right, you know what? Just to stem off the sense of impropriety, how about you just it's either you let him go or you go, and so that the case can proceed. And they did that, and they're still going after her.
And it has
because let me say something. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's one, because she's a woman, and two, because she's a black woman. Every prosecutor that's prosecuting Trump right now that's black, he's going after them.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them.
And
because he's a racist.
But the thing is that it has nothing to do with Fannie, who she's dating. The court case is still against these criminals.
Yep.
Okay, and indicted criminals, but it's just so sad that these, and then you got the crazy judge that has no experience whatsoever to be a judge, a lifetime appointed judge in Florida over the case of Trump. I mean, it's ridiculous. The thing is, she is in there, and she is clueless, and it looks like she is supporting and protecting Trump.
Absolutely.
You said look like.
She's in the building. What's going on?
Man, I was packing. I'm on the road again tomorrow. So I was like, I was packing.
That's what I was like,
wait a minute, I can come and talk about this though.
But what do you guys think? I mean, we're all having a discussion on this. I mean, the
delays are caused by judges that he put in place. That's the first thing to understand. This is not about a judge, an unbiased judge making a decision. The intention is so that nothing happens, no more convictions happen before the November election. Because election interference, a conviction in that, I'm sure you wouldn't be allowed to continue to run if you convicted of election interference.
But the fact that he is now convicted 34 times over and found guilty in all 34 charges, and he can still run for president, but yet still he's going to get his guns because he owns 3 guns. He's a licensed gun owner in New York State.
Confiscation is coming.
They're taking it back now. The NYPD just said that they're trying to revoke his license and take his guns. And he can be president of the United States as a convicted felon. Let's let that sink in. There's no thinking about this as a theory down. This is all solid fact. 12 of his peers have found him guilty on every single charge. Guilty. And he's going to be sentenced, 3 or 4 days before he's supposed to accept
July 11th.
Right, 4 days before he's supposed to accept the nomination as the candidate for the Republican Party for the presidency of the United States.
A convicted felon.
What country? He's talking about, how the Democrats are running this banana republic. This is a banana republic. The fact that they're saying that he can run for president, he could be in jail,
right,
and still run the country.
Do you guys think he's going to go to jail? Do you guys think he's going to go to jail?
I think that he'll push that judge to give him some jail time. I think he's going to push that judge.
Well, in the audience, I mean, this in the community. I hate saying audience. In the community, what do you guys think? Do you think Trump is going to go to jail? Do you think the judge is going to sentence him to jail for some amount of time? Like, I think he's going to get sentenced to jail for 30 days to make a point. I just think I think this judge is like, you have railroaded this whole thing. He's not going to say it verbally, but you have railed against me. You railed against my daughter. You railed against this courtroom. You railed against the judge, the jury. You railed against our rules and as our justice system. I'm putting you in the lockup.
Yeah, think about it. Most defendants who are found guilty are trying to, I don't say appease, but show some remorse because they know they're going to get sentenced, and this is the judge is going to do it. Why would you go and rail against him? Talk about his family, talk about him, talk about everybody else, and people are going after Trump supporters are going after and doxing people from the courthouse, and it's a matter of time before they find those jurors to try to do it to them as well. Why would you do that? He's going to put him in. I think that it might be a very short stint, maybe a couple of months, just to prove a point. Well, but here's the thing. I don't think he'll do it to prove a point because that judge he's very fair, but
he's very fair.
You're not looking for leniency when you're doing those things. You're showing that you think that you're still above the law, even though you've been found guilty of 12 of your peers.
Right.
Come on now.
Kimmy says, if not jail, how does he get punished? First of all, because everyone around him has gone to jail. It's Omar said it's such a mess. I mean, you can't even believe this is where we are in America, but it is. This is where we are.
Yeah,
this is where we are.
Well,
Alieze says something really crazy. Alieze, you can probably go on this more about it. Is that this is why elections matter, because elections is not just about the presidency; it's about these judges.
Yep, it's about the judges. I mean, that you all said it earlier. These are federally appointed judges have the same status, like their time as Supreme Court justices. They're lifetime appointments. They're not elected. They are appointed by the president. They are lifetime. That's how federal judges work. And so, if you look at cases, even the case the other day with Fearless Fund, there were 2 federal judges who were appointed by him on that appeals court, that Court of Appeals. So that's how you get the votes that you get, and that was the one thing that they accomplished when they had control of the Senate and he was president, was the ability to appoint all of those justices. Just like they gave Barack Obama that hard time because he had a whole year they wouldn't approve a justice, but they approved his last justice, Coney Barrett, in 21 days.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't that
they're
they
shameless.
It was just how they wanted to do it, their intention. And so, that's what we have to worry about. I don't believe he's going to be reelected, but if he did come back in here, he's gone to the extremist judges that are there now are going to retire, and he's going to appoint younger ones who will
yes.
be for a lot longer time.
Here's the thing. I think that the judicial system in this country needs reform. There's no reason
Total
why
reform.
These judges should have lifetime appointments when a president doesn't have lifetime appointment. When you really think about it, it makes no sense to have that. It makes no sense.
I think everyone needs to have term limits. I think that everyone in the Congress needs to have term limits, just like the president. They should have. You shouldn't be elected more than twice. I don't care how you shouldn't be able to stand there until you're 100 years old.
Exactly.
And freeze at the mic because you can't remember what you were thinking. So you shouldn't. All of those people need and definitely need to revisit the idea of federal justices having lifetime appointments, because that was done during a time when they thought, and I don't even know why they thought it then, that they would be unbiased. But no.
Not even that, though. I mean, when you think about it, people didn't live that long back then either. So the life expectancy is a
lifetime
lot
was 35. Lifetime was 50 years old back then. So that's true. When I was in South Africa, when I went to the Supreme Court on a tour, and I learned. I mean, one is you go to the Supreme Court in South Africa, in Johannesburg. And you go in, and they're giving us the whole tour. And first of all, there's all these languages that they all recognize because there's so many languages in South Africa. But what the most fascinating thing is that they've learned from America that what not to do. They do not believe in lifetime appointments, which most democracies don't. Most democracies have term limits. South Africa went totally out their way not to have long-term Supreme Court justices, and their reasoning is because the country is continually evolving, and you need new, young, fresh bloods, mind thinking to support the trends and what's happening in the country.
Right.
So having someone that's in the Supreme Court 50 years or 40 years or 30 years, they become separated from society.
Right.
So you need people that are already in society, working in society, doing something in society, and then they can eventually move out and get fresh blood. And it keeps your court system alive.
Right now, our court system is totally corrupt. So
the whole judicial system needs to be revamped.
It's horrible. The federal justices that have been appointed, all of them are compromised. Our Supreme Court justices have been bought and sold, and are totally compromised. So they're not making decisions based on the Constitution of the United States. They're making decisions based on one man's agenda.
Yeah, or their party agenda. So
right now, that's the party of him.
The party, it is exactly. So since we're on this topic of the Supreme, this is a good segue. Good segue. What do you ladies feel? I have to go to the ladies first. What do you guys feel about? I mean, first of all, the Senate. I thought it was a great idea for the Democrats to do this. They were like, we want you to put this on record.
Right.
We want you guys to put it on paper that you are against it, contraceptive, reproductive rights, or you're not. You're for it or you're not.
Come on, G, give it to us because I can see it percolating.
Percolation.
Smart move, very smart move. And I know Ron and I have had this conversation, and I am fairly crass when I talk about reproductive rights. So I will refrain from that because this is not my group, right? Because I'm gonna say some things.
This is our community. Our community. It says OUR.
I know, right? It's so telling that you have men, primarily white men. And I know that there's some Black men who chime in, as well as other ethnicities, who believe this idea of telling a woman what to do with her body. I am beyond, okay, well, I'm not. I'm still in my childbearing years. I don't want any children though, right? But I think about my niece, I think about my granddaughter, I think about all these other young ladies who need to have the choice to decide what to do. And more than that, it's just not about having a child. There are so many things that happen with a woman's body that requires medication that to somebody is like, oh my God, that's the abortion pill. It's not the abortion pill. I've never had a miscarriage. I have had loved ones who have had miscarriages, and they need that pill to keep the process going, right? Because the alternative is to carry this kid and you risk the idea of having sepsis or some other health-related issue. So when people are so narrow-minded that they have this one thing, and I know I told Ron about this because the Texas GOP had their convention here like a week ago. God bless all of that.
God help you.
And the whole idea is here in Texas, they are putting an idea to attack IVF again because having or creating a child in a petri dish is just not the way to do it. We want our young men and women to learn to have kids in the womb, as if every single woman has the ability to carry a child in her womb.
But here's the thing.
Some of us
can I say something about that, Gwendolyn? So a lot of the people that use IVF tend to be of a certain demographics because it's not cheap. So you're stunting your own people.
Yes.
All right.
You're attacking families to be so pro-life. You have people like my family members. I have a couple who have used IVF. I've had, again, people who have lost babies, right? You don't think a woman wants to have a child the way that everybody else has a child? These guys don't understand how hard it is to, one, get pregnant and then to carry a child for 9 months. That's not easy. It is not an easy thing. So to make these blanket statements about why somebody would need certain drugs is just asinine, right? And as I tell Ron all the time, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Ron. I don't understand with all the stuff happening in this world why these dudes are all up in somebody's coochie. Like it ain't got nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Right?
Yes.
We got gun problems, mass murders. I mean, I'm in Texas. You got a guy who was just released, pardoned by the governor after he shot somebody and was found guilty by his peers. He is on the record with a psychological issue, and he was given the right to carry a gun again. Don't tell me that you're really concerned about families and lives. You are not pro-life at all.
Definitely not.
It is so ridiculous, but I just sit there and say, how is it possible? And you and we've had, like I said, I had a discussion with some of my friends and definitely Gwendolyn. I remember someone laying it out to me how, when you think about all of us are alive, we were born, we were all born, our parents had us. Do you know that pregnancy? There's a large percentage of pregnancies that don't make it. To be born is like something that goes against odds. I mean, there are truly some odds for all of us to have been here. When someone broke it down, I don't know where I heard it from. It was years ago, pretty much probably decades ago, and they were like, when you think about disease, miscarriage, something happening, something wrong, umbilical cord strangling the baby in the womb, and all of the things that go on in a pregnancy, or like Gwendolyn just said, even to try, some folks are trying desperately to have children, trying their marriages and everything hinges on them having these children, and now you have these fools that want to control, and it's like, how can, I'm just gonna go straight there, straight for the jugular. White old men, some of them are mid-age,
some old white women,
and some old white women want to sit and make a determination about all the women in our country.
Well, wait, hold up. Now, I'm speaking for Texas. They were clear in their document that they're concerned about the snowflake babies. Now, I don't know how to take that. I kid you not.
They were clear.
Does that include the brown one? I just want to know.
For those that don't know what a snowflake baby, could you expound on that, Gwendolyn?
Okay, well, the idea here was that the state would take control of the babies that are in IVF that are frozen, because again, they want to make them into like the moment they're fertilized as a human life, they got to protect their rights, yada yada yada. And the idea is the state would take control of these snowflake babies, and then if they couldn't get couples to adopt the baby, then they would find like persons, surrogates to carry. It's crazy. It's some ish going down here.
It's crazy-ish, and I don't usually say the word, but that sugar honey iced tea is sounding good to me.
And I'll leave with this. I'll leave with this part. They are also, and I mentioned this last night on Alieze's show, they're looking to change the way that the voting is done, that it's not the popular vote, but you have to get all the counties in Texas. Texas is a big bitch. I'm sorry, Ron. It's huge. Yes. So most of your Democratic cities are metropolitan. They're blue. Right. Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, right? When you get into the rural areas of Texas, they are red as the blood that flows. So they know that if you have to do it by county, they will always be in power. Right? If people are working this hard to take your vote trust, it means something. What's that phrase? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Oh, they trying it. They are going for all the things down here.
Yeah, my husband and I actually had that conversation as well about what Texas is doing, and just the things that people need to pay attention to, and how you vote.
It's a plan for others, because if it's not Texas, it's Florida.
Texas and Florida are the petri dishes of the country. Wherever goes on in Texas of Florida,
it is.
They will implement it for the rest of the country in their mindset.
Yep,
absolutely. Yes, and that's those are the test cases. Those are the test cases.
And people wake up. That is just the start. They're coming after everything: the right to vote, the right to gay marriage. I mean, everything.
They have a long list. They're going after everything. And this is why voting matters. This is why it is important. People think it's again, Lee's brought it up last night, which really, I love. First of all, shout out to the women that were on your panel last night. It was cool. You guys worked.
My two dads,
a good, candid conversation. And, but you think about elections have, you have to vote. You just have to vote. I'm just gonna go there. If you think it, like some people say, I'm just gonna sit this one out.
Right. When you have 17% of the registered voters coming out to vote. I mean, what is that? 17%. And then 17%. Oh my God, what happened? You happened. You didn't show up.
Well, they said back, Trump would have never became president if only 3% more of African Americans came out to vote.
Right.
Yeah.
And he thanked them
Side note. I don't know if anyone's talked about this on the panel. Because he's a convicted felon in the state of Florida, he would not be able to vote for himself for president.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're also trying to get around that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they're going to change the rules. They're going to make the rules.
You work it out for one, you got to work it out for everybody, right?
They're going to change the rules.
He was locking up people DeSantis was locking up people in Florida for the quote unquote voting illegally, even though that's been sorry about that, dismissed.
You never know what your hands will get these days.
Yeah, I know.
But I want to take us briefly back
Go
to
ahead.
what we
Go
were
ahead,
talking
Lee.
about.
Take us.
When Gwendolyn brought up the piece, people really need to understand about the quote unquote abortion pill. My neighbor she has 3 children, but prior to that, she had at least 2 miscarriages that I know of. And she and I were talking about, this is a medication she had to have administered so she wouldn't get sepsis and die. Mm-hmm. There are women out here who are being forced to carry non-viable pregnancies, which could cause them to get infections and die. Mm-hmm. Who are
Oh no!
Forced not to maintain it without being treated with this pill. So it's not the pill. It really is bigger than what they're trying to say. And then to kind of give you an example, going back to contraception. So at the age of, I think 14, I think I was 15, I was diagnosed with an ovarian cyst at the age of 15.
Wow.
And I know it. The complication probably started when I was around 12 because I kind of started having problems, but I had not had my menstrual cycle at that time. And then that wasn't until later at 14, and it was very irregular. So I was like, this is how it's supposed to work. I like this, every 6 months, that's fine with me. Everybody else is complaining every month. But I found the lump in my side, had my mother take me into the hospital emergency room. That's what they found when they ran all the tests. Fortunately, I had an Asian doctor who said, you're too young for surgery. I don't want to do surgery on you. So he prescribed for me at the time probably one of the, they used to have numbers on birth control pills. So I had what was a 180. So that was probably the strongest birth control pill you could get at the time in an effort to shrink the cyst. And it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Wow. If it had not been for that doctor's ability to prescribe that birth control pill to me, who knows what would have happened to me.
Well, that's the thing,
it's not just about birth control pills. For some people are a form of medical treatment that has actually, I was not sexually active.
That's right.
And that have nothing to do with sexual activity, but have to do with reproductive health and quality of life issues. And that's why one of the reasons I really love this Pope now is he said people need to stop worrying about what's going on below somebody's waist. If you don't have ovaries, a uterus and ovaries, you have no business to telling people what to do with those parts.
Unless you're a doctor who's aiding that patient. You said something that's really important, and I think people don't realize. Even like the drug Mestoprestin, that wasn't originally. It wasn't originally to help with removal of a unviable pregnancy. It was, I believe, meant for something else originally, and it's still used for other things. So when you take drugs like that off the market, you're not only affecting women with non-viable pregnancies, but you're affecting other people that have other medical ailments that need that medication. So they don't even understand what it really means for these drugs and the purpose it has for the community as a whole. They're just so fixated with, no, I'm going to control your body and tell you what to do. I don't care.
Right. And
well, they all think it's like this, that governor. I mean, well, the lieutenant, the black dude that's in North Carolina that's running for president. Governor.
He's crazy.
He was like, if you just keep your legs closed, you don't need it. I mean, he would. You just like who?
So these Ron, when he said that, when I heard that, let's understand that a child whose legs were forced open and raped, a woman whose legs were forced open and raped, she didn't have the option of saying no and keeping her legs closed. She was forced to do something. They should not have to carry a rapist child in some states where they want that rapist to have parental rights. So you can, when you sit up there and make an ignorant statement like that, which that was ignorance. So that had nothing to do with. That has nothing to do with what I decide to do with my legs.
Yes.
Why don't you? Why don't you choose to keep yours in your pants? Whatever you want to do. But the point is, not every woman and not every child who has been subjected to incest and rape chose to open their legs. So when you sit up there and make an ignorant statement like that, that's just unconscionable. And we have got to start understanding. I want people to understand and stop letting them decide what you focus on.
Yes.
You focus on the term abortion and not the term reproductive rights
and
wellness for people. It's not just rights, it's health. My issue is a reproductive health issue. I probably wouldn't be able to have the 3 children I have now if it were not for that doctor who determined I was too young to have a surgery, which probably would have resulted in me having a hysterectomy as a teenager.
Yes.
Because that was so long ago. I wouldn't have the 3 children I have or the granddaughter that I have. because that doctor chose to give me what I needed for my health. And what people and get out of your head about, the people who are the quote unquote Christians who aren't following Jesus, but that's the different subject. Get that out of your head, and understanding that when you talked about the snowflake babies, right? This is driven by, I tell people all the time, a book called The Birth Dearth. They know that it's predicted by 2040 in this country, because we know internationally they're already outnumbered, but in this country they will be officially not be the majority by 2040. So their whole thing was, and because they could not just say you can't abort, they don't want white women to abort, they just said women to abort. They don't really don't care what we do, but
they don't care about that's right. They don't care about people of color.
That 2/3 of the abortions were done by were requested by white women.
Yes,
there you go.
That's their problem. So it has nothing to do with us, because I come from families of 10 and 7 and 16 and 11, so it wasn't us. But that's the problem. And they also know that they have more fertility issues too.
Yes.
They have a lot of fertility issues. So that's why the IVF is important, or surrogacy. There's lots of things that can be under attack that has nothing to do with anything. So you're going to have babies growing up and that they're stealing these babies' children. It made me think about the indigenous people and taking babies, right?
Yes.
So you're going to take these babies who are in IVF, hook them up to some device or a person, and basically steal their children.
Yeah. Here's something else to think about. They're not even willing to uphold people's rights to contraceptive. And when we say contraceptive, it's not just birth control, but it's condoms. You're going to make it illegal to buy condoms. Watch the sexual STDs and STIs increase. AIDS epidemic off the wall. I mean, you people are not thinking. You're not thinking. It's not just to help prevent pregnancies, but it's to help control the spread of disease.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what people aren't thinking about.
But doesn't it feel like we're
contraceptions, period?
Well, Alieze, and doesn't it make you feel like we're in the dark ages where you have these uneducated people making decisions for people when they don't know the science, they don't know medical, they don't know anything about what they're talking about, and they're making decisions on it.
And
when it comes to women health.
The decision was in the 1960s that married women could. They took it all the way to the Supreme Court to get the right for married women to use contraceptives.
That's right. That's why they want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of that clause. That
right. And as I shared in my my talk last night, my neighbor in the early 70s, pregnant with her 7th child, and I was a teenager talking to this woman, and we were talking about. She said, in order for her to get her tubes tied, a tubal ligation, her husband would have to sign. So they want to take you back to the point where your husband would have all the control, would control your body. You wouldn't have any autonomy. You wouldn't be able to make a decision. There would be a man in charge of that process for you. So that's where they want to take you. And the whole idea, and that's why it's important. I want to say this one thing, the Comstock Act. The reason it's so important, and the reason
say that again, say the name of it again.
Comstock.
There you go.
So those were done again. Something done in 1873 when it originally came out by the then Postmaster General, and it was about it says about putting melon pornography, where they're classifying certain things like contraception and all those things as pornography, and the abortion pill, and so it kept them from being put in the mail. How many of you all get your prescriptions now by mail?
That's right.
Yep.
How many people are getting their prescriptions by mail? So they're coming at it from that angle, so that you'll no longer be able to get your prescriptions by mail. And you have pharmacies closing down all around the country. So some people are going to be forced to try to get their prescriptions by mail. So birth control pills birth control, whatever that form is, being placed on that list. You can't order that box of Trojans.
Yeah. That's right.
You won't be able to get your prescription, or even if it was over counter, you can't get your birth control pills through that. So we have to understand what that is, and they've asked the former president not to talk about the Comstock Act because that's their wild card. They don't want people to know That's why they say, oh, we're not going to push for the national ban, but they really are.
Yeah.
But they're going to want to put this in place. And right now, the person in charge of the postal system in America was appointed by him, cannot be removed by the current president.
And they still can't get rid of him.
Control that. So I just wanted people to be fully aware of all the angles they're coming at for this and how it's going to impact us, and women in particular. Pay attention to, you think about Handmaid's Tale and all those things. They really are putting you back there. And I know for the white women who may listen to this is you too.
Yes.
This is you. Yeah. These are your granddaughters, your daughters. This is you all too. And they're taking them back to the dark ages. So when your child, hopefully, God forbid, gets attacked by someone, gets impregnated, she's going to have to carry that. So think about it's impacted every woman.
Well, guys, we have reached the number of time of our time has expired. Man, this is why I love intellectual people. These three folks on here with me on this channel make me so happy. I mean, guys, we really have to continue to communicate. These are the reasons we need to vote. These are the reasons why we need to because some of the stuff that we just talked about is in Project 2025.
Absolutely.
So y'all,
get your Louisiana people out there to vote.
There you go. Voting is not just for today. Voting is for the future. Voting is for your grandkids. Voting is for your grandniece. Voting is for your great-great-grandniece. People that haven't even been thought of. This is what voting is for. Voting today is not just about today. It's about the future and future generations. What happens in the Supreme Court, who's put in there, who's put in the judge positions across this country, it matters. Right. Okay, guys, we are out of here because...
Ron, can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead, my dear.
Don't let what Chris said go over your head. Contraceptives include condoms.
Yes, right.
So men, and we're talking about rises in sexually transmitted diseases now. That's Imagine that future. So it includes that as well. So don't let that go over your head, people.
Could you imagine not being able to get a condom? Men will lose their mind.
Oh, and by the way, if you look on my stories and some other people's pages, there are 9 of those senators, Republican senators, who voted against that are up for re-election. Look and see if they're in your state. Make sure they don't get back in.
Yes, right. There you go. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today on Touch Base Daily, and we are here every day from 10 our new time to 11, and we're on repeat this evening on Indie Soup Media. So you'll be able to see this again and repeat. So check that out on Indie Soup Media. Shout out to our Dr. Tachi. And tomorrow we'll be back. It'll be Chris and I again. And we're doing Focus Friday, where we focus on accounts on Instagram and on Instagram and YouTube that inspire, bless, and encourage. So see you guys tomorrow. And we are out of here. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm getting to my outro. Here we go. Bye-bye.